Guns blazing, bullets flying, and history being made. From dusty Western duels to high-tech bullet ballets, movie shootouts have shaped the way we experience action on screen. But how do we get here? Let's trace the evolution of the greatest shootouts in cinema history. We begin in the Old West, where shootouts weren't about endless gunfire, but about silence, patience, and dread. Sergio Leone's The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly gave us the art of the stare down. Minutes of unbearable tension leading to seconds of violence. Then came Sam Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch in 1969, which tore cinema wide open with operatic slow motion, blood squibs, and chaotic crossfire. Peckinpah didn't just show violence, he made the audience feel its weight. Around the same time, Don Siegel was redefining shootouts with Madigan. Siegel began his career as a film editor, and that instinct for rhythm and timing is everywhere in the film's final shootout. No spectacle, no slow motion, just pure cinematic clarity. Every cut, every angle builds tension until the devastating end. Peter Bogdanovich often cited it as one of the greatest shootouts ever filmed, calling a masterclass in how to use editing and restraint to create unforgettable impact. As the 70s rolled in, shootouts moved from precision to pure dread. John Carpenter's assault on Precinct 13 showed that you don't need a massive budget to create a legendary shootout. With only a handful of actors, limited sets, and minimal resources, Carpenter staged a modern Western disguised as an urban thriller. The siege of the police station is stripped down to pure tension. Endless waves of attackers, dwindling ammunition, and silence broken by sudden bursts of violence. It proved that creativity and atmosphere can be more powerful than spectacle, and it inspired an entire wave of siege movies to come. From there, the 80s and 90s brought us shootouts bigger, louder, and far more explosive.
Say hello to my little friend!
Brian De Palma's Scarface gave us one of the most iconic final shootouts ever filmed. Tony Montana's cocaine-fueled Last Stand, shouting "Say hello to my little friend," is both a power fantasy and a cautionary tale. The violence is overwhelming, drowning Tony in the very chaos he created. It's operatic tragedy disguised as action spectacle. But De Palma wasn't done. In the Untouchables, he delivered another unforgettable moment, the Union Station shootout. A baby carriage rolling down the stairs in slow motion, bullets flying in all directions. It's a direct homage to Eisenstein's Battleship Potemkin, and proof that a shootout can also be pure cinematic art. And then, in Carlito's way, De Palma gave us another masterpiece. The subway station shootout isn't about excess, but about inevitability. His camera glides through stairways, corridors, and platforms, turning Carlito's desperate escape into a tragic ballet of suspense. If Scarface was De Palma at his loudest, Carlito's Way is De Palma at his most precise and heartbreaking. Meanwhile, John McTiernan's Die Hard in 1988 flipped the script on action. Here, the shootouts weren't about invincible heroes mowing down faceless enemies. They were about vulnerability, improvisation, and survival. Trapped in Nakatomi Plaza, John McClane's every bullet counted. The shootouts are messy, suspenseful, and claustrophobic. Action suddenly felt human again. And then, Michael Mann's Heat in 1995 raised the bar to an almost documentary level of realism. The bank robbery scene wasn't just choreographed, it was tactical, recorded with real gunfire echoing down Los Angeles streets. It showed shootouts not as Hollywood fantasy, but as chillingly authentic urban warfare. To this day, police and military units use that scene as a training reference. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, gunfights were being reinvented into something completely different. John Woo's The Killer and Hard-Boiled transformed shootouts into poetry. Doves flying through a church, Chow Yun-Fat sliding across tables with dual pistols, and a hospital shootout that plays out in one breathtaking long take. We didn't see shootouts as just violence. He saw them as performance. Every gunfight became an opera of sacrifice, loyalty, and chaos. Hollywood would never be the same after Woo. But you don't always need millions to innovate. Sometimes creativity is born out of limitation. Albert Pyun's Nemesis may not have had the budget of The Matrix or Die Hard, but it turned limitations into sheer creativity. The Motel Shootout is a masterclass in low-budget action filmmaking. Walls shattering, bullets tearing through cramped hallways, explosions around every corner. Pyun uses tight spaces and kinetic editing to make the scene feel bigger than it really is. Chaotic, inventive, and unforgettable. It's proof that even without Hollywood money, you can still deliver a shootout that sticks in cinema history. And then, at the end of the 90s, bullets would literally bend reality. The lobby shootout in The Matrix changed everything. Black trench coats, bullet time, martial arts fused with gunfire. Suddenly, shootouts were no longer bound by physics. This wasn't realism. It was cinema embracing the impossible. Tarantino, on the other hand, grounded his gunfights in style and tension. The diner standoff in Pulp Fiction is the perfect example. No slow motion, no spectacle, just words, guns, and unbearable suspense. It's Tarantino channeling Sergio Leone in a modern crime cinema, turning a simple Mexican standoff into one of the most memorable moments of the 90s. Later, with Django Unchained, Tarantino let the violence erupt in over-the-top fashion, blood spraying like fireworks, operatic and exaggerated, yet unmistakably his. But not all directors were interested in spectacle. Some wanted to strip shootouts down to their terrifying core. Ridley Scott's Black Hawk Down in 2001 immersed us in the chaos of modern warfare, with handheld cameras capturing confusion and fear in the middle of Mogadishu.
You okay? Nelson, you all right?
Michael Mann returned in Collateral and Miami Vice, crafting shootouts that last mere seconds, fast, brutal, and devastatingly real. Denis Villeneuve's Sicario took this further. The border-crossing sequence isn't just action, it's pure dread, where every trigger pull could spark catastrophe. And in No Country for Old Men, the Coen brothers proved that sometimes the silence of waiting for a gunfight is scarier than the gunfight itself. And just when audiences thought they'd seen it all, a man in a suit rewrote the rules. In 2014, John Wick exploded onto the screen with something new: gun fu. Every movement was precise, every shot calculated, blending martial arts and firearms into pure choreography. The tunnel shootout in John Wick 2 showed Wick as both executioner and dancer, flowing from headshot to headshot with hypnotic precision. It wasn't just a shootout, it was a new language of action cinema, one that countless films would rush to imitate. Yet even as modern cinema redefined spectacle, some filmmakers reminded us where it all began. Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven and Kevin Costner's open-range strip shootouts back to their essence: quick, ugly, and unromantic. No balletic slow motion, no stylish choreography. Just men with guns and the finality of pulling the trigger. In many ways, we ended up right back where it all started. The brutal simplicity of the Western. From Leone's tense duels to John Wick's modern gun fu, shootouts have reflected not just how we fight on screen, but how we imagine violence itself. Some glorify it, some deconstruct it, but all leave a mark on film history. So now it's your turn. What's the greatest movie shootout of all time? Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and subscribe for more deep dives into the movies you love. After all, this is everything you want to know about movies, but we're afraid to ask.